of horror. Yeah, Smiling Joe. Ugh, insufferable.
Is life worth living? Well, I suppose we could actually conduct a study on that basis, as a lot of psychologists and sociologists and philosophers conduct such studies.
They do? Anyways, psychologists are relevant somehow. Come on, they're healthcare workers, right? Their objective is to make people functional in the game, obviously. Their function isn't to do what's best interest of the person, because often the best interest would be to just give them the truth and just say your life is fucked. Yeah, you should just give up. But whatever. I don't know. The subject isn't about your worth living crap, okay? It's antinatalism again. So this is just another perversion of the subject at hand. Antinatalists really don't give a fuck. All right, you wanna spend your whole day sticking your head up your own ass. We don't give a shit. You want to buy a machine that literally puts your head in your ass. Go the fuck ahead, shithead. We don't care. You want to laugh all day long. Laugh all day long. The argument is, do you have a right? Do you have a reason to impose life? Create. To play God. Do you have a right to play God with something else's welfare? That's the question. Essentially take somebody else's head and shove it up your ass. I say you don't have any such right. Fuck that.
And I'm confident of the outcome of any such study. In other words...
Yeah, well, I'm sure the Christians are confident too, okay, that they can do this study in America and God will win, and then we all have to believe God exists. And I'm sure in the Middle East, God's going to win again. And in Africa, God's going to win again. So I guess we have to move to the Far East, and then what's going to win there? Some kind of tree being or something, or boogeymen, or hobgoblins, or Dracula.
We would have recourse to checking the only evidence that we have for a question which is essentially asking people to make a value judgment. Is life worth living? So the only way that we have to answer that question is to ask human beings what their opinions are.
Yeah, right. That's the only way. You can't do any kind of thinking about it. Like, so if there's an experiment and I'm going to have some rats in a maze and they're going to perform a certain function, and 50% of them are going to get, it ain't going to be good for 50% of them. It's going to be bad times. I can't understand whether it's an experiment worth doing unless I ask the rats. I should ask the rats what they want to do. No, I don't think so. I should ask the horse if he likes being a horse. So we should ask ignorant humans. Yeah, right. Yeah, you make me laugh.
Owing to the fact that suicide is a rarity in our world and always has been, I would assume that...
Yeah, well, it has been for reasons, right? I mean, first, they didn't have great methods in the past. It was really hard to kill yourself. And now we have legal prohibitions against doing it gracefully. So would you have the right, would you have the balls to make it entirely legal for any kid, let's say over 13 years old, to commit suicide? You want to take that chance and just see how it plays out? See how the statistics might change a little bit? If we made the door out even, as accessible as the door in, because they never even came in through the door, they were just pushed in. And if we gave them a free right to walk the fuck out, you got the balls to do that?
Life is at least worth living. It's worth the hassle. It's worth waiting to die of natural causes.
Yeah, again, worth it compared to what, right? Compared to blowing your brains out, or suffocating yourself, or strangling yourself, or poisoning yourself. Yeah, it's kind of like, if I can put that off, I'm going to put that off.
It's actually worth going out and doing things. In fact, I would actually say that most
great
people
video player
actually
YouTube.
enjoy their lives.
Fuck. Fuck, I'm going to have to reload it. Fucking YouTube sucks. It's funny, its player's suckier than the one on my website. Not responding, it says. It's probably gonna crash my browser because of this fucking cunt. Anyway, so when do we ask people this question? Oh, yeah, when they're 25. Maybe when they're 35. Why don't we ask the question after they're dead? Yeah, that would be great, right? So are you going to postulate that the numbers, you don't think the numbers would change at all if we asked the people after they spent the 10 years in the nursing home, or after they had the unsuccessful chemotherapy, or after they watched their 3 kids get killed by a drunk driver, or after, you know, did you have the balls to say explicitly that you're certain that all the dead people, after it's all been said and done, that after they saw the dirty, stinking slob neighbors rummaging through their personal belongings that their kids couldn't give a fuck about, you know, that when they saw their life on the road for bulk garbage pickup day, you know, all their photos and their whole life on the street to get picked up on bulk pickup day, once they've seen how irrelevant they were, or if they saw inside the head of all the people who had opinions about them and thought they were stupid and obnoxious and smelly and stinking, that they'd have the same charming opinion of their life and what purpose it served. I wonder. Do you wonder? Are you capable of wondering? No, you're not. Yeah, I'm stuck here. She's not going to obey. So I'm fucked. YouTube sucks. YouTube sucks. YouTube sucks. YouTube sucks. Not responding. Not responding. How do I make it respond? I don't know. I gotta come up with a plan. They cannot possibly fail. Well, maybe if I close this gray text video. It's probably giving the computer a headache. Son of a bitch.
Owing to the fact that suicide is a rarity in our world and always has been, I would assume that life is at least worth living. It's worth that.
Yeah, so you'd assume. Assume based on the fallacious evidence of the fact that people have been dominated by cultures that, you know, brainwash children into thinking there was gods and demons and that you go to hell if you commit suicide and all this other crap. You know that history, and you're just going to ignore that and pretend that people through volition choose to live, that they're not coerced into living. You're not even going to concede any element of coercion. And then you're not going to recognize any other bigger perspective and the fact that the question isn't asked to people when they have the complete and whole story of their life.
Asshole is worth waiting to die of natural causes.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, so when Mark Twain said, I'd rather not have been, he didn't mean it?
It's actually worth going out and doing things. In fact, I would actually say that most people actually enjoy their lives.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, what does that even mean? Do they enjoy the chemotherapy? Do they enjoy all the crap that goes in? No, of course not. So again, this is just, what the hell does that mean? They enjoy their lives. I enjoy my life. I enjoy elements, pieces of my life. Yes, I satisfy my desires and gain gratification. I eat my dinner and enjoy the sensation of satisfying a hunger. So what?
And that's why we consider depression not to be
we consider. So you're one of them now. So good, I can just call you a them then. You're one of those religious nuts. You're one of those, what, mindless majority? Yeah, maybe we'll call it that. You're one of the mindless majority.
Reasonable state to be in, but a pathological condition that needs to be cured.
Yeah, whatever. So is depression's never valid. So if you're an American Indian and you're getting annihilated and you watch your whole family get killed, you don't have a right to be depressed. If you're a Jew in a concentration camp, you can't be depressed. If you're a prisoner in prison, you can't be depressed. There's no such thing as a rational reason to be depressed.
Like an illness. That's the way I see it, and I know, but...
Yeah, you know shit, okay? You're a fucking conniving weasel of a human being, okay? You won't ever have a fair argument. You won't deal with a counter argument. You suck.
Depression is. So I think that I know what the answer to that would be, but I'm willing to go along with anyone who actually wants to poll the entire human race to get the number.
Well, again, and the poll would mean what? What would that mean? You could poll the average Southern human back in slavery days, and it'd say slavery was cool. Does that mean slavery's cool? Again, a poll of the human race right now will get you the answer that God exists. So does that mean God exists because they say so? I mean, where does this, you can't see how completely irrelevant this is? How the argument from popularity can't be used this way? It can't be used as evidence of authoritation?
Is life worth living? Most people that I know would say that it is. Again, we're back at the old, are happy people stupid?
Yeah, or we're back at, is the average person stupid? And we're happy or not?
Conundrum. The thing is, we are the only ones who can judge whether or not life is worth living.
Yeah, whatever. It says you, right? We're the only ones. We as individuals decide whether we are criminals or not, whether we're immoral or not, whether we're productive or not, whether we're anything or not. No, I'm sorry. I can opine on the subject. Somebody runs over my kid, especially, and he's drunk, I can opine a hell of a lot about what a useless sack of motherfucking shit that cunt is. And I don't give a fuck what his own opinion of him is. Alright, I'm gonna have my own fucking opinion of how useless that motherfucking turd is.
Those of us who are alive right now, you can come up with all the convoluted logic that you want to...
Yeah, convoluted logic. Yeah, yeah, like brainwashing. Ooh, scary, scary. Like delusional thinking. Yeah, it's really, convoluted logic to talk about the God delusion and how it completely fucks over people's perception of reality. Yeah, that's convoluted logic.
Prove that it isn't, but ultimately it's Joe Blow in the street or Jane Doe or whoever who decides whether or not life is worth living.
Well, whatever. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, quite obviously. It doesn't mean anything to the question, okay? Ask them whether somebody else's pain is worth their gain. Ask them whether if they had a certainty, a known certainty that the cost of their existence was imposing suffering or death on a 10-year-old girl living in Minnesota right now, that was the absolute cost of their existence. Ask them then, under that condition, whether they'd say, yes, my life is worth it. I mean, add a little bit of intelligent nuance to the question. If you're not going to ask them an honest question, one that will glean some sort of reasonable information, then what's the point of asking the question? It's stupid. It's retarded. Okay, more retarded than a smart person asking a retard a question is a fucking asshole asking anyone a question. And you're just being an asshole to ask an open question like that. Condition the question.
Not somebody sitting in a classroom in a philosophy department in a university. That's the ivory tower in all its...
Yeah, whatever. Right. You're not going to deal with anything real, right? I mean, ask somebody, okay? If you knew for a certainty that your kid was going to die at 6 years old of cancer, would you still have the kid? Ask them the question. Be interesting to see what the answers would be.
Arrogance, deciding for others whether or not their life is worth living.
Yeah, no one's doing that anyway, asshole. So again, this is just stupid, right? No one's asking them, no one's saying that you can't create human beings that think their life is worth living. Of course you can create human beings that think their life is worth living. The opposite is also true, that you can create human beings who think life is absolutely stupid and moronic. Alright, and we choose to create more of a certain kind than the other kind through propaganda and conditioning. That's all it is. You just have a numbers advantage. You haven't earned the victory. It's like Christianity didn't earn its victory. It didn't persuade the world to be Christian. It said be Christian or die. So again, this is just you're no better than a lying inquisitioner. You know, you're an imposer of the imposition. You're an imposer of the imposition.
It's interesting what we could do in terms of David Benatar's potentials with the results of any such poll.
Yeah, again, exactly, and we could speculate that again, you just change a few of the circumstances of the maturation of the young in this culture, change the culture a little, and we can change the numbers a lot. All right, there's no, my perception isn't different composed than your perception, Smiling Joe. All right, you can't point to you're not going to extract it into some kind of here I can find the excuse. You're attempting to do that. You're attempting to say I was a depressive before I was smart enough to understand what it was, but that would be a lie. Okay, I'm not a depressive because I was born to be depressed. I can show you home videos. I can show you that I wasn't looking to be depressed. But the truth was just factually depressing. I found it wanting and lacking. I didn't fucking buy your fables and your fairy tales of happily ever after. I realized it's just an insidious biological mechanism that it's going to consume anything I care about. It's going to be consumed by it. The steamroller is going to come a-rolling, and it's going to squash it, and I can push it back and I can hold it back, but I won't be able to stop it. And I found that depressing. And I think anyone who doesn't find it depressing is an asshole.
It seems odd that I should actually have to say this in the context of this discussion, but I find that a lot of the antinatalist philosophy, in particular Mr. Benatar's philosophy, is nothing more than pseudo-philosophy.
Oh, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's about as explicit and it's about as drawn out and as tedious an explanation of the obvious as Darwin. I mean, it's about, you go over it and over it and over it, and here it is from every angle. I mean, come on. I mean, fuck.
We all know what science is. Mr. Benatar's philosophy, I believe, actually belongs in the realm of pseudo-philosophy.
Oh, whatever that means. I think your philosophy belongs in the realm of bullshit, nonsense, delusional, crazy, fuck, sadistic crap, emotionally driven drivel, whatever. Fuck you.
That's a value judgment of my own.
Yeah, your unqualified crap shit out of your ass, opining with no evidence, nothing. I mean, it just makes a perfectly rational argument about the unneeded need. Oh my God, what a crime. That's pseudoscience to put those words together. Unneeded need. How dare you possibly speculate about a need not being needed? Fuck you. So fucking, I hope you just get it so bad. I wish I could be there. I wish I could imprint my name in your brain so then when life really fucks you over hard this time, okay, not like the first depression, but you get depression C squared. You get shit up your ass so fucking nasty. There isn't, it's beyond your comprehension that it could be this nasty. Okay, and it wipes that motherfucking cunt smug smile off your motherfucking face. I wish my name could shine in neon, okay, with that fucking glib little smile. As I just sit there and say, yeah, isn't enlightenment a bitch? Fuck you.
Thank you.
Fuck you. Crazy talking. Fucking shit for brain. Yeah. So the argument from popularity, 13 likes, 1 dislike. 13 likes for the argument for popularity. I mean, if somebody has the time to go out and find who these 13 people are, I would appreciate it, because I would appreciate humiliating them properly. I mean, here he has used the argument from popularity right there in our faces. I mean, and these people don't have anything to say about that. Like, that's really disgusting. Pitiful. Oh, Skid Row Radio, why do you keep talking to these assholes? P.S. You're not as sharp as you think, bub. The fact that you just called a child free... The fact that you just called the child free a... Well, I don't... The fact you just called the child free... Well, I don't know. Pseudo... Well, I'm not going to get this. Betrays your agenda. You've declared it... Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, commented. Sorry. Bad reading on my part, too. You've declared it irrational prima facie in order to be able to claim that anyone identifying with the ideas must either be manipulated or depressed. Let me illustrate with just one of your comments. I don't doubt that there are some sort of sick manipulation going on here. For whatever reason, some of us seek a guru to follow to the grave. Yeah, again, it's... Yeah, everybody else is a manipulated moron, and only Mr. Chuckles has the story right. But anyway, you think so? Okay, let me rephrase. The fact you just called AN a pseudo-philosophy betrays your agenda. Well, no, we already did that. Well, let's see. There's one of Akin and then whatever. You haven't given these guys any respect at all as logical arguments. Give me a list of arguments it makes. Well, the asymmetry is a simple argument. I've made a ton of arguments about why life fails. Consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction. We have a bastard origin, and although that didn't necessitate complete failure, it's unlikely a retard is going to make, is going to be able to build the Empire State Building. It's just not likely that a retard, you just say, here, go build the Empire State Building. It's not likely it's going to work out. And I will make a video on it as part of the debate I'm interested in. Whatever that means. How's that for blank cliche? I don't know. I mean, haven't seen you respond to anybody's comments yet. You seek to show how those who merit in ideas are drawn into them because their depression, ergo pseudo-philosophy, is not in fact rational, logical, or anything to take seriously at all. They're quoting each other now with, I don't know. Well, anyway, whole bunch of Skid Row and this asshole. You can assume that I have concluded I am wasting my time. Interesting. You've technically addressed it, but how about, say, no amount of pleasure experienced by some can justify the suffering of others? You claim that the suffering and pleasure on earth is on net balance, which implies joy, pleasure can justify suffering of others regardless of extremity. Don't you find this a bit callous? Well, I don't even think callous is the right word. You claim that the suffering and pleasure on earth is on net balance. No, that's not quite right. Well, I think it is exactly what you said, shithead. What I said is that it all evens out. Oh my God, evens out and balance aren't the same thing. Evens out and balance. Like evens out is this and balanced is that. I mean, how could evens out and balance not be the same thing? It is not a balance in that there are any sort of relationship. So there's no relationship between pleasure and suffering. I see. If one person has more joy than the average, it just means that there's someone out there who experiences less than the average. So it's all about being an average. Yeah. So if you're only going, because, it's like if there's only like a water buffalo stepping on your foot, then that's the average, so everything's fine because you're the average. And it's only bad when an elephant steps on your foot. And then it's good if a hippopotamus steps on your foot. A balance implies some sort of relationship between the two, which I have never posited. Well, I'm sorry. When you say evens out, you've already established a relationship, so that doesn't make any sense at all. So yeah, that just is absolute nonsense. Oh, God. Oh, Rosebushy. This ought to be entertaining. That's why I always use quotation marks when I mention AN philosophy. It really isn't worthy of the label. So yeah, this is the kind of, wow, that's such a, boy, you sure got us there. We don't get to even have a philosophy. Even the tired old rebuts have to stink of cult attached to them. So again, if the anti-religious make the same arguments, if every single atheist doesn't have an original argument in refuting some Christian claim, it's a cult. Okay, I got it. Yeah, let's apply your standard, and let's go over your videos and see how many of your arguments are original. Yeah, I'd say about none. It's like someone took all the Christian apologetics arguments and paraphrased them to suit this new ideology. I mean, can anybody make any sense out of that at all? I mean, how far away from the idea of God can you get when you're basically saying creation absolutely sucks? I mean, come on. I mean, that's like the ultimate heresy, isn't it? I mean, anti-naists are basically saying don't go anywhere near anything God created because it's shit. And that's going to be called Christian apologetics. Amazing. Noise is produced about anything that tangentially refers to AN, and the detractors' motives are question. I don't know. The detractors' motives are question. No, their intelligence is at question. Anything is discussed except the blatant logical failure upon which an AN edifice is built. So again, consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, and addiction. What else is there, asshole? I haven't heard anybody. I still haven't heard a fifth ingredient. So, and tell me how one of those four ingredients aren't the reality of our circumstance. So either dispute one of those four or tell me what these other ingredients are, asshole. Come on, have some balls. Grow a ball. Invent a ball. Put a ball in a glass of water and see if you can get one to work out for you. Because you don't have any balls. If it were only a matter of personal choice, the issue of blame wouldn't even arise. If it were only a matter of... Every person should have the right to evaluate their own life as they see fit. Well, when's a person? When they're 18, 21, 35? What number would the cutoff be at? The problem is that you can't call a position anti-natalist if it's so blasé about procreation that doesn't care about whether other people procreate or not. Well, again, I can't solve the dilemma of my existence unless I stop people who procreate. You just can't figure that out. That I didn't get here because somebody non-procreated me, shithead. All right, it's the messes you're making that create my vulnerability. I don't have anything to do with creating my vulnerability. I can't stop my vulnerability till I stop you fucking lunatics. Knowing full well that a large number of people will keep on choosing to do so. Well, again, larger number of people choose not to do so. Again, I'll reiterate, it is only the dumbest minority of human beings who sustain and maintain overpopulation. Okay, population would diminish to zero if the smartest 85% of the human race, if their reproductive behavior was mimicked by the bottom 15%, the human race would be zero in a matter of a few generations. I don't blame people for being emotionally drawn either, but I will not tolerate negative value judgments about my own personal choices. Well, I'm sorry, okay? I don't give a fuck what you're going to tolerate. I don't tolerate drunk drivers, and I don't tolerate drunk procreators. Unless you have some fucking good excuse for imposing your values on a new person, fuck you, cunt. by somebody who has no business commenting on them. Well, again, that's how I got here, shithead, so I have an interest. It is my fucking business. Procreators created me, so I'll comment on fucking procreators. So fuck you again, cunt. Skanky cunt. It's beautiful because one finds it exceedingly difficult to muster any sympathy for poor, whiny little rich kids who didn't get enough thrills handed to him on a silver platter to keep life interesting. One is deemed to be worse than Hitler. You know, again, I'll challenge you to a life. Who came from what kind of privilege in terms of life? Okay, fuckwit. I'll challenge you to show how my service in, a nursing home, or the fact that I was working from age 11, that I didn't live any privileged life. I'll go through the list of all the animals I comforted in their last moments of existence on this planet. I'll go through the list of all the animals run over the roadkill I took home and gave a decent burial to. I'll go through all that shit, okay? I'm not complaining because there's nothing to complain about. I'm not complaining because I got a hangnail. I'm complaining because sensitive, valuable creatures are treated like absolute shit on this fuckhole of a planet. And fucking cunts, sadistic, motherfucking, greedy, selfish, self-obsessed, egomaniacal, crazy fucks like you give it no concern whatsoever. Fuck you, you sadistic shit. Wrong. Andy addresses some of the most fundamental arguments on which Benatar's version of AN is based, and he destroys it. I don't know who Andy is. Since the whole Benatarian brain fart is undeniably built upon that foundation, he can dismiss the whole stinking lot of horse manure without having to read the book from cover to cover. Well, I'll concede if you can somehow make some kind of argument about the fact that there is this dilemma in life of the unneeded need, and if you don't create the need just doesn't in fact fucking exist. That there is no purgatory where the non-existent plead for existence, or wish for existence, or want for existence, or lack for existence. If you don't think that's an argument that needs some sort of real counter-argument, then I think you're just a disingenuous, lying piece of scum. But that's what I've always thought of you, at least in the last 3 years. I'll be the judge of that. He did. We disagree. Oh, cue verbal diarrhea. Like I said, you're the one with the diarrhea, shithead. This Rosebushy has become such an asshole. I mean, there's comment after comment. I'll say, besides, what good is an ideology if its most fervent subscribers are unable to communicate its fundamental tenets effectively? Well, I guess I've been effective enough to cause an awful lot of you to comment on it, haven't I, fuckwit? I guess I have. And I haven't heard any counter-arguments. I mean, I've played your fucking videos. I mean, your argument from Cute Kitten was, I didn't play that, but, I mean, it's not much of an argument, fuckwit. I don't need to read Ray Comfort's idiotic books from cover to cover to know that they are full of shit, either. How this fan base manages to communicate his ideas is enough. Well, again, it's, you can keep saying cult, but you're not making a counter-argument. So it's so typical. Let's see. Trick's not impressing him. Amazing. Oh, jeez. This is quite amazing. Quite amazing. Oh, there's another Rosebushy. Perfectly put. If I want to know whether a person's life is worth living, ask them. Every time a person answers yes. So that means if there's a classroom full of retarded kids, and we're going to decide whether we're going to mix, I don't know, nitroglycerin and instant jello, I should just poll the retards in the class and find out whether it's the right thing to do. Yeah. Brilliant. Because every person who gave the answer will have given it despite the fact that, unlike us, they have experienced suffering. Well, again, you're not accounting for the fundamental nature of the disagreement. And so let's do it by IQ test. How about that? How about we rate the answers by IQ? How would that be? That's adding a little more depth and integrity to the results, right? So let's ask the question and rate the answers by IQ. And where do you think the more humble, less enthusiastic, we'll give people multiple choice how to rate what life is. Yeah, and I think you're going to know where the results are going to tend to be. Absolutely, it won't be long if everybody is really, in reality, is interpreted in light of the ideology. Remember when some, so again, he's going to be, I think he's arguing about how antinatalism is going to die off because somehow we don't breed. Yeah, I mean, these people really are so fucking stupid. Remember when some science was rejected because it was supposedly, I don't know what this is. I'm waiting with bated breath for an AN version of, oh Jesus, I don't know what that is in science. Lysenkoism, yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. That argument is too pointlessly obtuse. So I think that's enough. Anyway. So yeah, we should decide whether yeah, well, why bother making all these physicists and building their super colliders, and no, just have just ask the public whether the boson exists. Yeah, I mean, just hilarious. So anyway, enough of the video. So, oh boy, these people just suck so bad though. I mean, really, it's just so. This is just such. This argumentation is just so fucking lame. They just won't deal with the facts. And the obvious facts. The obvious facts that the human race can't serve a purpose beyond satisfying its own perception of need. There's no need for us to exist outside of our own perception. I mean, this is an important frickin' fact. And you're just running away from it like the pussies that you are. Pussies don't really run very fast, but you know what I mean. Sorry to slander the pussy.